Hey guys, so I'm back with another video, and today is going to be just slightly different from my last videos. It won't be much of like a stream of conscience video. It'll more so be me kind of like venting a little bit and talking about some different aspects of my life right now that I feel are contributing the most to like my suffering and things like that. I do wanted to talk about my chiron in my first house because I feel like this placement is really ruining my life. So we can get into it. If you see me looking down here a lot, it's because I'm looking at my laptop. I'll probably put it on my lap, but if you see me like looking down, it's because I'm looking at my laptop. I have my notes on here. You can't even see them, but I have my notes on here, and they're just about my Chiron in my first house. Chiron in my first house. So yeah, let's get started. So what is Chiron? So Chiron represents our deepest wounds, and then it also represents our efforts to heal our wounds and how we go about healing the wounds that we have. What I've noticed a lot about Chiron being in the first house is that a lot of the natives with the placement here struggle a lot with being bullied as a young child. And as a result of being bullied as a young child, they suffer with some sort of body image issue or self-perception issue as a result of like what was being said to them. So, one thing about Chiron is that if an individual has this placement with Chiron in the first house, they'll be more inclined to suffering from traumatic experiences as a child. I'm not even looking at you guys. I'm sorry. They'll be inclined to experience traumatic experiences as a child, and this could be as a result of like their parents, or even as a result of their school life and how other kids kind of treat them. If your Chiron is in the first house, it's really important that you remember that you have to forgive the people who have said these things to you, because kids are rarely ever conscious beings, and so they say whatever is going to be on their mind, period. So like, if you do have this placement, understand that a good starting point would be to forgive those people who have wronged you and to forgive those people who have done you wrong, and those people that put you in that bad space mentally, physically, and emotionally. So yeah, let's see. The next point, let's see. Okay, so one thing that I like about my Chiron being in the first house is that my advice that I give to people is like A1 as fuck. And I don't want to sit there and toot my horn and say like, oh, my advice that I give is so great and so perfect and so this and so that. But it's more so that the advice that I give comes from somewhere deep inside of me because I've experienced what the person may be experiencing. For example, I had a friend recently that was struggling with the way that she viewed herself and her body. And of course, I was able to like have some good ass advice for her because I've gone through the same thing since I was a little child as a result of things people have told me in the past. So, our advice can transform people, and through transforming other people, we can transform ourselves. And that's the beautiful thing about Chiron being in the first house. That's like the only good thing I think about it being in the first house. But I don't want to make this video negative at all because I don't want any negativity on this channel. But Chiron being in the first house definitely can bring up some things like that. Anyway, next. Yeah, so with this placement, the native will have to put in a lot of effort to truly heal and transform. Chiron does not heal like our wounds easily, and I don't know why this is. I need to research this for myself, but this asteroid is kind of like damn near in the way of us getting our shit done. I feel like it holds us back a lot because it puts a lot on us as children, and we carry that through our adulthoods and stuff like that. So that's fucking crazy. So we'll have to put in a lot more effort to transform and heal ourselves. And with that being said, I can kind of relate to that a lot because I am currently in a stage of my life where I'm working on healing myself a lot and self-recovery from mental breakdowns and stuff like that, and working on loving myself a lot more. And it's not been an easy process. And this is because it could be because my Chiron is in the first house, so I have to work a little bit harder to get what I need from things in life and from different planets in life. And it could be that. It really could be. Or it could just be the fact that I just have to work a little bit harder because that's the type of person that I am, and that's kind of what my life needs of me at this moment. That's like kind of what the universe feels like I can deal with right now. So it's putting all this effort, all this pressure on me to make an effort to like recover and to change. Um, so yeah, like I said before, people with this placement should start by accepting themselves and their appearance, by understanding that there are things that are simply just unchangeable, and you should forgive those who have wronged you in your childhood, as children oftentimes act unconsciously. Like, kids say the damnest things. Like, kids say, honestly, like, stupid ass stuff. So like, whatever they say, like, you shouldn't let that shit get to you, because like, that's just what kids would do. That's it. But yeah. I was recently watching a video by Dr. Honeytrap. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with her on YouTube, but she basically was talking about chiron in the first house, and she brought up a point that someone that she knew, I believe, had body dysmorphia, or she was talking about body dysmorphia itself with people who that have chiron in the first house. And I can see this being a thing and these things being connected, because chiron has a lot to do with your childhood and how you were brought up and what things you went through as a child, and like the deep traumas and wounds that you still have that you have not worked on healing yet. Like, chiron will do that shit to you. And so it doesn't come as a surprise that people who have this placement will have issues like body dysmorphia and self-perception, self-image issues, and self-confidence issues, because something that someone said to them as a child that followed them into their adulthood, and they still struggle with it. So for example, with me, people oftentimes talked about like my teeth and my nose and the shape of like my head and stuff like that. Like, shit that kids would say. Like, kids are just so mean. Like, kids would just say the damnedest things, the darnest things. And now I struggle with those areas of my body. Like, I hate my teeth, I hate my nose, and I think my head shape is so weird. So I don't like when people look at me from the side. Like, when people look at me in general, I'm always like on the fence about it, and I'm always so like adamant about it, because like, it's weird to me that you're staring at things that I'm so that feel like they're so flawed for me. So yeah, and then also, yeah, so she was talking about Chiron being in the first house, and she was saying that body dysmorphia is a thing with these people. And so, like I said before, I can kind of see exactly why she would say that. Now, with this placement, is also imperative to understand that, like, just because you have to do a little bit more than most to truly feel like yourself again and to truly be in a good headspace in life, it doesn't mean that you're incapable of getting there on time. It just means that it just takes a little bit more for you to do those things. So you're constantly battling yourself and the voices in your head that are telling you don't do this shit. And you got to go against them and say, I'm going to do this shit anyway, because Chiron will work in ways like that. Chiron's rewards are even more of a good thing, you know? Like, their returns are fucking amazing if you just do what you're supposed to do. So that is the Chiron in the first house, my take on it, and kind of like some life advice for those who have that placement, who may be dealing with like trauma and stuff like that. So thanks for tuning in. I'm about to go get high, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.